Hi, so you may have seen this video that we made earlier where we made those raised beds out of cedar fence pickets, and we just installed this trellis tunnel so that our client Chelsea can grow vining plants up and over the top. It's really easy to do. It's really affordable. You may have seen this kind of thing before because we're not really reinventing the wheel here, but it has such a magical effect when it's all closed over with plants that we can't not tell you how to do it in case you haven't seen this yet. So here's how you make this amazing tunnel. All you need to build a trellis tunnel is one sheet of cattle panel fencing, though you can use multiple, a couple of T-posts, you'll want at least 4 T-posts per cattle panel, some chain link fasteners, and a few simple tools. Stephen made sure the cedar planters were nice and level before getting to work on driving the T-posts in the ground. A few minutes spent preparing your installation site goes a long way towards the overall look of the finished project, so if your beds are uneven, take a moment to straighten them out. Quick note on the cattle panel fencing, you can probably find it at your local big box store like a Lowe's or Home Depot, but you'll save quite a bit of money if you pick yours up from a cattle feed store, farm supply store, like Tractor Supply, something like that. Cattle panels are typically 4 feet wide and 8 feet long. We actually used 3 panels side by side to span the entire length of these 12-foot long raised beds. You'll notice that Stephen is using a metal fence post driver, which isn't necessary for the job, but we've hammered a number of these posts in at other installations using a sledgehammer, and it's harder than you think it's going to be. So we opted for this tool in order to save time and energy. Yeah. You'll be installing 4 posts total for 1 sheet of cattle panel fencing. Once you have them in place and have measured to make sure you have them at your desired depth, it's time to install the panels. This is the part where having another set of hands helps a ton. You'll want to place the fence panels inside the T-post so that the T-posts act as a support to keep the fence panel in place. Start with one side of the fence, get it into place on the T-post, then have your partner bend the other side of the cattle panel fencing into place. It's a good idea to wear gloves when doing this because some parts of the panel fencing might be a little sharp. We also discovered that slightly bending the fencing a little before moving it into place on the T-post can help make the installation process a bit easier. Once the panels for your trellis tunnel are in place, you'll want to secure them to the T-posts. There are a couple of ways you can do this. We opted for galvanized steel T-post fence clips, which are designed exactly for this purpose, but you could also use some zip ties or even wire in a pinch. Once the trellis panel's secured, check to make sure the arch is shaped the way you like it. Since the trellis is made from these thick metal strands, it's not that hard to gently bend things into your desired shape. So if you want it a little more pointy or a little more rounded, you can tug it into place to kind of achieve the desired shape that you want. One of the great things about this type of trellis tunnel is that you can make it as long as you would like. Our client wanted her tunnel to run the length of the garden bed, so we overlapped 3 panels together, but you could do just 1 panel, you could do 2. I have an 8-foot long one at my house, so it's very flexible to achieve your desired impact and look. And I should note, you don't even need a garden bed to install a trellis tunnel. You could put one right over an in-ground bed. You could put one in a landscaping bed. You could trellis climbing roses or grapes or pretty much anything you wanted to grow over these. It's a really affordable way to start maximizing vertical growing space in your garden. If you want to be really extra, you can weave some solar-powered twinkle lights into the trellis before you plant. That's going to create a really striking view for your garden landscape at night. A cattle panel at our local Tractor Supply costs about $25, and a T-post cost about $6 each. All in on this 12-foot long tunnel, we spent $194 on the cattle panels, the T-posts, the clips, and the post driver. Really not bad for this huge impact that we're going to see. So I need you to use your imagination here because it's early spring in Utah. It shouldn't be, but it's so cold, so nothing has grown yet. But please imagine this just completely covered in beautiful, amazing vines with squash and beans and cucumbers hanging down in the middle, because that's what she's going to have by the end of the season. Next up for Chelsea's garden, we're going to be installing a patio, some walkways, and some ground cover, as well as a perennial herb and native pollinator garden. So be sure to like and follow to watch Chelsea's garden transform this summer. Bye!